All right, so let's start on these. It's 47. Well, I'll do them as we go along. Start quick. 47, 5 times the number is increased by 50. The result's the same as when 200 is decreased by the number. Find the number. So this one, there's no, we can just go straight to, what do you call, setting up the equation. So 5 times a number that I don't know, so let's call it x, 5x, 5 times x, is increased, means plus by 50. There we go. Again, I'm literally translating word by word as I go from the sentence, right, from left to right. The result, which in other words means equal, is the same as when 200 is decreased by that number, 200 minus x. Okay, find a number. So that's your equation. So now we have, well, go through your check. 1, is there a distributive property? No. 2, combine like terms. Can I combine 5x and 50? No. Can I subtract 200 and x? No. So combine like terms. Instead of an x here, let me go to a check mark. Done, done. 3, check if there are variables on both sides. So I'll put a v for variables on the side. And there is. There's a 5x here and there's a minus x on the right side. So one of them have to go. So how do I get rid of the minus x? Well, I do the inverse operation. I add x, right? So if I add x here, I have to add x on this side. What happens when I add x? Well, minus x and plus x, they become 0. And the only thing that's left over on the right side is 200. This gives me 6x, 5x plus x equals 6x. And then I get plus 50. I'm going to subtract now both sides by 50, right? And then I get 200 minus 50 is 150. These two go away because they become 0, and I get left with 6x. Divide both sides by 6, and x equals 30. And that's the answer to my problem here. Okay. So that's 47. Oops. Erase everything. So let's go to check marks. 48. If 10 times, so if 10 times, which is multiply a certain number, which I don't know, so let's call it x, a, b, call it whatever variable you want. So if 10 times the number is increased by 4, increase means plus 4, the result, or equals, is 12 more than is addition, 12 more than 9 times that same number, which we called x. And there is this whole 48 translated to an equation. Again, go through your checks. Is there a distributive property? No. Is there combining like terms? Can I combine 10x and 4? No. Can I combine 12 and 9x? Still no. Variables. Are there variables on both sides? Yes. One is a 10x. Sorry, there's an x here and an x here. One has a coefficient of 10, the other one has a coefficient of 9. Well, one of them have to go. So let me divide my equation two sides. My suggestion is to always take out the the variable that has the smaller coefficient. In this case, it's positive 9x. And in order to get rid of that, I'm going to subtract 9x, right? And if I do that, I subtract 9x on the other side as well. Well, go through your problem now. 9x minus 9x, sorry, positive 9x minus 9x, this becomes 0, right? So this becomes 0. And the only thing left over on the right side is the number 12. On the left side, 10x minus 9x, it's just x, and then plus 4. Now you're left with a one-step equation. Subtract 4 from each side, and x equals 8. Okay? Now, I forgot to check, so, which we didn't do in class, so I can check. So let me take my original equation, and wherever you see x, I'm going to replace it with 8. So I get 10 times 8 plus 4 equals 12 plus 9 times 8. 10 times 8 is 80 plus 4. It's going to give me 84. So on the left side, I have a total of 84. On the right side, I should also get 84. So I get 12 plus 9 times 8, which is 72. I'm allowed to add those two. Look, left side equals the right side. I know I am correct. 49. If 3 times the number, let's call it n. is increased by 22 plus 22. That's what it means. The result equals 14 less than 7 times a number, which we call n, by the way, in this particular problem. So, but the word here is less than, so we have to make a little switch here, right? These two terms will change order, so instead of 14 minus 7n, it actually becomes 7n minus 14. So 3n plus 22, nothing changes on that side. Go through your check. Distributive property, nope. Combine like terms, nope. Variables on both sides, yes there is. There's a 3n here and a 7n here. So get rid of the smaller coefficient. Right? That's my suggestion. So on the left side, the smaller coefficient, by the way, is 3n. So I'm going to, because it's positive 3n, in order to make it a 0, I'm going to subtract 3n, and I'm going to subtract 3n on the right side. 3n minus 3n is 0, right? So that goes away. I'm left with 22. 7n minus 3n is 4n, and then minus 14. We're going to add 14 to both sides, right? Let's get rid of the constant. That's what we do first. So those two go away. I'm left with 4n. 22 and 14 is 36. Divide both sides by 4. N equals 9. And again, on your quiz, you will check, right? And that just gives me reassurance that you're doing it correctly. So wherever we see the n, I'm going to replace it with 9. So let me do it here. Let me see if I have room. 3 times 9 plus 22. No, I'm not going to have room, so let me do it on this corner here. So we get 3 times 9 plus 22 equals 14 minus 7 times 9. And it looks like I made a mistake somewhere. Oh, I used the wrong equation. Sorry. I'm going to substitute it here. So 3 times 9 plus 22 equals 7 times 9 minus 14. That was my mistake. So this is the equation I substituted on the first one. So now 3 times 9 is 27 plus 22. 7 times 9 is 63 minus 14. Hopefully they equal each other. 27 and 29 is 49. 63 minus 14 is 13 minus 4 is 9. And then 5 minus 1 is 4. So look, they do equal each other. Good. Next one is 16, 17, and 18 at the bottom. Okay. So, like you said, you had a pretty easy time today doing these. This should be no different. Let's see, 16, consecutive. Find 2 consecutive integers such that 4 times the larger exceeds 3 times the smaller by 23. So this one we actually have to identify. So there's 2 consecutive integers. So first integer and the second integer, they're consecutive, so one follows the other one. So if the first one is x, the one following it has to be x plus 1. Okay. Such time, so which obviously this first one is going to be the small one, and the second one will be your large consecutive number. Right? That makes sense. So 4 times the larger, 4 times the larger, which is x plus 1, so put it in parentheses. 4 times the larger exceeds 3 times the smaller by 23. So if you take the large and you subtract it by the smaller one, minus 3x, it gives you 23. And that's your equation. Distributive property, you get 4x plus 4 minus 3x equals 23. So now we're ready to go through our checklist. Distributive property, done. Combine like terms. I can combine 4x minus 3x. And if I do 4x minus 3x, I'm left with just x plus 4 equals 23. Combine is done. Are there variables on both sides? No, in this one I don't even have to worry about that one. It's just I'm left with a very simple one-step equation. So solve this. I'm going to subtract 4 from the left side and subtract 4 from the right side, and I get that x equals 19. So my small number is 19 and the large one is 20. So I can go back to this equation. 4 times 19 plus 1, and I want to double check here, minus 3 times 19 should give me 23. Well, let's see if I'm correct. So 19 plus 1 is 20, so let me just put a little 20 over here, right? 19 plus 1 is 20. So 4 times 20 is 80. And then minus, and what's 3 times 19? That's 57 equals 23. 80 minus 57 is 23. So I know my numbers are correct. Um, 17, 8, 16, 17, 17. Find 4 consecutive odd integers. I mean, so with odd integers, and I'll do it over here. So the first one is x. The second one has to be x plus 2, right? The third one is going to be x plus 4. And the fourth odd integer is going to be x plus 6. X plus 2, x plus 8. So that makes sense, right? So if think about it, if the first number was 5, the following odd integer after 5 would be what? 5 plus 2, which gives me 7. The third integer would be 5 plus 4, which gives me 9. And the fourth consecutive odd integer would be 5 plus 6, which gives me 11. Right? So, so we have the 4 odd integers expressed here, and then now we can set up the equation. Find the first 4 consecutive odd integers such that the sum of the first 3, so if I add the first 3, x plus the second one, which is called x plus 2, plus the third one, which is called x plus 4, if I add those 3, it's going to exceed the fourth by 18. So, and I add these and subtract the fourth one, which please put it in parentheses, x plus 6, that's going to give me 18. So if I add the first 3 and subtract the fourth one, I'm going to have a leftover of 18. Okay. Let's remove the parentheses. So again, distributive property there is. I mean, pretend there's a 1 here if you like. All right, do the distributive property. So that's the first thing you do. You can't combine like terms yet. So x plus 2 plus x plus 4. And then here, you can do the distributive property, or you know that there's a subtraction sign in front of the parentheses. So that's going to come out as minus x and minus 6 equals 18. Right? So distributive property done. Combine like terms. Can I combine? And yes, you can. There's a lot to combine. On the right side, there's nothing. But on the left side, I can combine everything that's x. I got x plus x plus x minus x. So that's just going to give me 2x. And then I have 2 plus 4, which is 6. And 6 minus 6 is 0. So I just left with 2x equals 18. Actually, this becomes even simpler than I thought. All right, so all this is the same thing as saying 2x, period. Okay? Divide both sides by 2, and x equals 9. So if my first odd integer is 9, the second one is 11, the third one is 13, the fourth one is 15. I am going to substitute here. So I'm going to take this original equation here and replace the x as 9. So I get 9. So let me replace here. 9 plus 9 plus 2 plus 9 plus 4 minus 9 plus 6. And that should give me 18. Right? So all I did is wherever I see the x in my original equation, I replaced it with 9. So let's see if it works out. So 9 plus 9 plus 2 plus 9 plus 4 minus, and then in the parentheses we have 9 plus 6, which is 15. So I'm just going to write minus 15 equals 18. All right, let's just make sure that everything's okay. So 9 and 9 and 9 is 27. 27 and 2 is 29. 29 and 4 is 33. So all that's 33. And if I subtract 15, does it really equal 18? Yes, it does. So again, just a little bit more reassurance that I did my numbers correctly. Okay, and we are good. What was that, 17? 18 is next. Find 3 positive consecutive odd integers. So again, x is my first one, x plus 2 is my second odd, and then x plus 4 is my third odd. Okay, so I identify my 3 odd integers, and then I'm ready to set up my equation using the sentence given to me, such that the largest, which is this guy, x plus 4, decreased, so which means minus 3 times the second, which is x plus 2, so let me put that in parentheses because it's made up of 2 terms. So the largest, x plus 4, minus 3 times the second one equals 47 less than the smallest. So the first thing I did was literally just translate that sentence part by part into an equation. Now I'm going to make a little adjustment because the word here is less than. So I need to change these two terms, the order, instead of 47 minus x, I need to write it as x minus 47. So again, x plus 4 minus 3 parentheses x plus 2 equals x minus 47. So that's the equation we're going to work on. Okay. So now let's go through the procedures. Distributive property, yes, I do. So I have to do the distributive property. So x plus 4, 3 minus 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6 equals x minus 47. Check. Combine like terms. Yes, there is. Nothing on the right side. But on the left side, I can combine 3 and minus 3x, and that gives me negative 2x. Positive 4 and minus 6 gives me negative 2. Okay? So, combine like terms, check. Variables on both sides. Unfortunately, there is. There's a minus 2x here, and there's an x here. So, if you follow what I suggested and get rid of the one that has a smaller coefficient, well, this one has a coefficient of 1, and I'm just going to put a 1 here to let you know. So, what is smaller, negative 2 or 1? Negative 2 is smaller. So, let's get rid of the negative 2. How do I do that? By doing the inverse operation. How do I get rid of negative 2x? Well, to negative 2x, I'm going to add 2x. If I add 2x here, I must add 2x on this side. So what happens when I do negative 2x plus 2x? It becomes 0. That's how I get rid of that. So if I get rid of that, the only thing left over on the left side is negative 2. On the right side, I get 3x. X plus 2x is 3x minus 47. What's my next step? Well, let's get rid of the 47 here, right? So I'm going to add 47 here and add 47 here. Negative 47, positive 47 is 0. So I got rid of that, and I'm left with 3x. Negative 2 plus 47 is 45. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 15. So my first odd number is 15. My second one is 17. And my third one is 19. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to plug it in here. So I'm going to get 15 plus 4 minus 3. 15 plus 2. Right, and replacing every x with 15, and then 15 minus 47. Let's do the easy side, which is the right side. So that's going to give me 32, negative, sorry, and hopefully I'll get the same thing on the other side. So okay, 15 plus 4 minus 3 times, and then in parentheses, 15 plus 2 is 17. So let me do that. 15 plus 4 is 19. 3 times 17 is going to be 51 equals negative 32. And if I do 19 minus 51, do I really get 32? I do. Negative 32 equals negative 32. And we know everything is good. So, just reassurance that my numbers are correct. All right. So again, nothing too crazy, right? So that side, turn the page over, which is this side over here, and we're going to do 37, 38, 39, and at the bottom 42, 43, 44. All right. So 37. The difference between two numbers is 24. Okay. Find the numbers if their sum is 88. Just give me 1 second. I need a drink. Get a glass of water. Sorry. All right. Where were we? Nope. Okay. What number is this? 37? Okay. I put a pen here. The difference between two numbers is 24. So think about this. One number is x, right? The first number is x. To have a difference of 24, the other one has to be x plus 24. Think for a second and see if that makes sense, right? So, which means one is 24 greater, or actually it could be where the other one is 24 less, right? So if you do it the other way, then if you do this, and actually I'll do it both ways. In this case, this is the larger number. I put a large number. This is the smaller number. Right, and in this case, if you write it like this becomes your large number, and this one becomes your small number. It doesn't matter. Okay, so you'll see that you get the same result. So find the numbers if their sum is 88. Well, let's do it this way, where one is x and the other one's x plus 24. So it's saying that if I add these two, x, and then I add the other one, x plus 24, which is the second number, I get 88. Well, there's no distributive property. There is combine like terms. I can combine x, and I get 2x plus 24 equals 88. I can now solve this, right? Minus 24 here, minus 24 on this side. Let me make a line in the middle. This goes away. I get 2x equals, what is this, 4, 62. Divide both sides by 2, and x equals 32. So and in this case, if x equals 32, this is my small number, and then the other number is going to be 32 plus 24. I put a 32 here, and I'm going to get 56. Now, what did the statement say here? Find the numbers, their sum is 88. If I add 32 and 56, do I get 88? Yes, I do. So that's a little reassurance that my numbers are correct. And again, if you wanted to, substitute over here, right, you would get 32 plus 32 plus 24 equals 88. Let's just confirm. 2 and 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8, and then 3 and 3 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So we get 88 equals 88. All right, so that's doing it that way if you chose to do it that way. Now, if you chose to do it the other way, okay, and you wrote that one of the numbers x and the other one is x minus 24, let's see if that works. So, assuming taking that second approach, let's again do the equation. So we get that x plus x minus 24, right? It says add both numbers, and the sum is 88. Well, again, combine like terms. X plus x is 2x minus 24 equals 88. I can add, in this case, 24 to both sides, right? Negative 24 plus 24 is going to give 0, so that's how I get rid of that, and then I get 2x over here. 88 plus 24, 12, carry 1, I get 112. And if I divide both sides by 2, x equals 56. So now this one, I find the large number first, and then the smaller one. So the large number is 56. And to find the other number, I'll do 56 minus 24, and that's going to give me 32. And again, if I add 56 and 32, does it give me 88? It does. Okay. 38. Separate 144 people in two groups such that one group will be 12 less than twice the other. All right. So let me take an example here because I know you'll have questions on this. All right. So let's assume I have 50 people here, right? And I separate them into two groups. Let me separate the first group and say I want 10 people to go on the left side. What would the other group be called? Well, the other group will be 50 minus 10, or in this case, 40, right? But without subtracting, if I call the first group 10, right, separate in two groups, and I take 10 and I say you 10 people stand on this side, Well, on the other side, who's going to sit? Well, it's going to be the 50 minus those 10 people. That's going to be on the other side, right? So if I separate it in two groups, one side will have this many, however many you decide to put on this side, and the other side will be 50 minus however many you told to go on the left side, right? So again, if you had 50 and I said, hey, I want 18 of you to go stand on the left side. Well, what is the other group? Who's it going to be on the other group? Well, in the other group is going to be the 15, but the 50 minus the 18 that's already standing over there. In other words, 32, right? So going back to that, let's look at the question the same way. Where was it? 38. Let me circle it because I separate. So we have 144 people. Let me put it over here. Now separated them in two groups. The only problem here now is that I don't know how many people I'm going to say, hey, you guys, I want you guys, you 20 people, or you 15, you 2 people to go on the left side. I'm going to tell a certain amount of people to go here. Stand on this, inside this box. Well, how many people are on the other box? Well, you told X number of people to stand on B, so the X number of people to stand on that box. So who's standing on this box? Well, it would be the 144 minus the X, right? That group that's already on the other box. So there are my two groups. So separate 144 into two groups. That one group will be 12 less than twice the other. So now we can set up the equation. One group, X, doesn't matter which one you call it, it really doesn't matter. X will be, it's another word for another way of saying X, 12 less than twice the other. 144 minus X. Right, so you got two groups. One group is called X, the other one is 144 minus X. So one group, and if you did it the other way, it wouldn't matter. One group, X, okay, will be, here's your will be, means equal, 12 less than twice the other. Well, the word is less than, so we have to make a little switch. So X equals 2, parentheses, 144 minus X minus 12. And that's the equation. Distributive property, yep. So X equals 288, right? Times minus 2X, and then minus 12. Combine like terms, yeah, let me combine 288 and 12. So X equals, and 288 minus 12 is 276. So I'm going to get 276 minus 2X. Okay, so I did distributive property, I combined like terms. Now there are variables on both sides, so which variable has a smaller coefficient? Well, the coefficient of this guy is 1, and this one is negative 2. So obviously negative 2 is a small one, so let's get rid of negative 2x. How do I get rid of negative 2x? By adding the additive inverse. So if I add 2x to negative 2x, guess what? This becomes 0, so this is going to become 0. And the only thing left over on the right side is 276. And then over here, remember, I forgot to add the 2x, right? So 1x plus 2x is 3x. Is 276 divisible by 3? Well, 2 and 7 is 9, and 6 is 15. So the sum of those three digits is divisible by 3, so the answer is going to work out nicely. So x equals to 92. 27, let's see, yeah, it goes 9. Then. So if x equals 92, that means in the beginning of the problem, when you divided the two groups into two parts, you said from the 144 people, you said, I want 92 of you to sit over here, to stand inside this box. So how many are in the other box? Well, it's going to be 144 minus 92. 14 minus 9, 52. So in the other group, there are 52. So on one side there's 52, on the other side there's 92. Okay? So now if you did it reverse, right, when you set up the equation and you use the first group as 144 minus x and the other group as x, your answer would be probably backwards. But same answer either way. What's next? Oops. 39. Again, same thing. Here is 45 people, and you're gonna separate them in two groups. A few of the 45 to stand in this box, and the rest of the people to stand on this box. Those are your two groups. So you're gonna tell a certain number of people to stand in this box. I'm sorry. So we don't know how many, but let's call it X. If X people are standing in this box out of the 45, how many people are standing in this box? Well, it'd be whatever, 45 minus X. And there are your two groups. So, and it says separate two parts such that 5 times the smaller number, 6 less than twice the greater. So it doesn't matter who you call the small or large. So hey, listen, I'm just gonna call this a small group, and this one will be the large group. If you want to reverse it, that's fine as well. Okay, so 39. 5 times the smaller, which we called X, is equal 6 less than 2 times the large group, 55 minus X. That's literally the translation step by step, part by part in the sentence. Now I'm going to make the adjustment because the word is less than. So these two terms have to switch places. So we get 5x equals 2 times 45 minus x minus 6. There. And that's the equation. Okay. Go through your check. Distributive property. Yes, there is. So let's do that. So 5x equals 90 minus 2x minus 6. Right? Distributive property happens here. Combine like terms. Yes, there is. I can combine 90 and 6. So again, 5x. 90 minus 6 is 84 minus 2x. Right? Third, check if there are variables on both sides. And there is. One is 5x and the other one is negative 2x. So let's get rid of the one with the smaller coefficient, which is negative 2x. So how do I get rid of that? I add 2x. By adding 2x and I combine these two, it's going to give me 0. So I add 2x there. I'm going to add 2x on this side. These two go away. So it's 0. 84 just comes down. And then 5x plus 2x is 7x. Left was dividing by 7 on both sides. 7 divided by 7 is just 1, or 1 times x is x. And 84 divided by 12 is, 84 divided by 7 is 12. So, I get that my small group is 12. Look over here. So I asked in the beginning of the question, literally what I said was I want 12 people out of the 45 to stand in that box. Which means over here, in the other box, right, I get 33 people are in this box. Okay. I don't know why I'm coughing. What is this? 37, 38, 39. Okay, done. And then what do we have? (42, 43, 44). Okay, so again, another problem. These problems. So the last 3 groups of problems where you have to identify, right, the numbers that we're talking about, and then set up the equation. So the greater of 2 numbers. So we know there's 2 numbers. Obviously, if you're saying that they're the greater of 2 numbers, the one's the smaller one, and the other one is the greater one, right? Smaller and greater. The greater of 2 numbers is 1 more than twice the smaller. So we're describing the greater number, right, in terms of the smaller. Do you see any information on the smaller? Is the smaller being described in any way at all? No. So therefore, we know that's the x. So the greater of 2 numbers. Don't do this, please. Oh no. Sorry. Okay. My pen. Okay. So, and the greater one is, oh, come on. In a circle because I keep losing. The greater of 2 numbers is 1 more than twice the smaller. And that's what the greater is called. So 1 plus 2x. Okay, so we identified our players. The small number is x. The greater one's called 1 plus 2x. And now let's set up the equation. So it says 3 times the greater. So 3 times the greater, which is 1 plus 2x, exceeds. So if you subtract 5 times the smaller, by 10. So the greater is the greater number is bigger than the smaller by 10. Okay, and that means subtract. Find the numbers. Well, now we get to do some more. Distributive property, yes there is. So let's do this distributive property. 3 times minus 3. 3 times 2x is 6x. Minus 5x equals 10. Done. Combine like terms, yes there is. I can combine the 6x and 5x. So I get 3 plus, and this is just x, right? Equals 10. Are there variables on both sides? No, so I don't have to worry about that. Now I just solved this. 3 plus what number equals 10? Well, obviously we know it's 7, so I subtract 3 from this side because this becomes 0. X is isolated, right? The only thing I have left over is x, which is what I wanted. And then 10 minus 3 is 7. So the smaller number is 7. The larger number is going to be 1 plus 2 times 7. So 1 plus 2 times 7, which is going to give me 15. I'm going to take 7 and put it in my equation here and see if it works. So let's get 3. 1 plus 2 times 7 minus 5 times 7, and that should give me 10. Well, let's do inside the parentheses. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. Minus, and 5 times 7 is 35 equals 10. 3 times 15 is 45 minus 35. And look at that. Left side equals the right side. So I know my work is correct. So find the numbers. One number is 7. The other one is 15. 42, 43. The second of 3 numbers is 2 more than the first. The third number is twice the first. The sum of the first and third exceeds the second by 2. Find the 3 numbers. All right, so we have 3 numbers. First number, second number, and third number. So let's identify them. The second of 3 numbers is 2 more than the first. The third is twice the first. So notice they're describing the third, they're describing the second, but they're not talking about the first. So everybody is in terms of the first. And while everybody is being talked about, being compared to the first one. So the first one is the one that they're using as a point of reference, right? So the first one is x. So and then the second is 2 more than the first. So x plus 2 or 2 plus x. The third number is twice the first. So whatever the third number is, and then multiply that by 2 because it's twice the amount. There are my numbers. So it says the sum of the first and third. So let's add the first number plus the third one, which is 2x. Notice that I'm not putting in parentheses because it's only made up of one term. So x plus 2x, the first and the third, exceeds the second. So if I subtract the second, and here's the tricky part, the second is made of 2 terms, so you have to put that in parentheses. So if I take the sum of the first 2, and I put it in the box here, and I subtract the second, the answer is going to be 2. Find the 3 numbers. Well, let's go through a check. Is there distributive property? Yes, there is. Right here. Right here is the distributive property, right? There's an invisible 1. So x plus 2x, that doesn't change. And now this one, there's a 1 here, right? So negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2 equals 2. Distributive, check. Combine like terms. I'm about to do that. There is combining. On the left side, x plus 2x is 3x. Minus x takes me back to 2x. And then minus 2 equals 2. Variables on both sides, let me check. No. Great. Now let's start isolating our variable. I want my answer to look like this, right? X equals something. So the first number we're going to eliminate is the constant, this minus 2. So how do I get minus 2 to disappear? Well, I add 2 to it. If I add 2 to it on the left side, I must add 2 to the right side. Negative 2 plus 2 goes away, becomes 0. So the only thing left over here is 2x. 2 plus 2 is 4. Divide this by 2, divide this by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, or 1x, and then 4 divided by 2 is 2. So apparently my first number is 2. So I'm going to write x equals 2. The second number, well, it's going to be 2 plus 2, which is 4. And the third number is 2 times 2, which is 4. So it's 2, 4, and 4. I'm going to replace this in my original equation, which is this guy over here. and just see if my equation stands true. So wherever I see x, I'm going to replace it with 2. So I get 2 plus 2 times 2 minus 2 plus 2. And that should give me 2. Order of operations, let's do 2 plus, and I can actually multiply these. I get 4 minus, and 2 plus 2 is 4. Right inside the parentheses, that gives me 4. So that's going to be 4 equals 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. Minus 4 equals 2. And I get finally 2 equals 2. So I know my answer is correct. And then when I plug in to identify my 3 numbers, I know they are correct as well. Okay. What's that? 43? One more? Yeah, 44. 44. The second of 3 numbers is 1 less than the first. The third number is 5 less than twice the second. If the third number exceeds the first by 12, find 3 numbers. Okay, so we have the first number, the second number, and the third number. The second of 3 numbers, the second number, it's 1 less than the first. Well, the first one's obviously x, so the second number is 1 less than that. Whatever x is, the second one's 1 under that. So it's x minus 1. The third number is 5 less than twice the second. So let me write it out. 5 less than twice the second number. But because the word is less than, right, you have to actually change the order of the 2 terms. It's 2x minus 1. 2 times x minus 1 minus 5. So this is actually your third number. Let me put them in rectangles. So your first number is x. The second number is x minus 1. The third number becomes 2 times parentheses x minus 1 minus 5. Right? The third number is 5 less than twice the second. And now we get to set up our equation. So if the third number exceeds the first, so the third number, which is 2x minus 1 minus 5, this whole thing is the third number, subtracted by the first number, let me change colors here, right? Subtract the third number, the first number, which is x, that should give me 12. And that's your equation. Straight property, yes. Let's take care of it right now, right here. 2x minus 2 minus 5 minus x equals 12. Can I combine like terms? Yes, I can. Combine this guy with this guy, I get x. Negative 2 and negative 5 is negative 7, which is equal to 12. Variables on both sides? No, so I don't have to worry about that step. And now this simply becomes plus 7 on this side, plus 7 on this side. That becomes 0, and x equals 19. So there are. So if x is 19, that means that my second number is 19 minus 1, which give me 18. And my third number, well, it's going to be 2 times 19 minus 1 minus 5. 19 minus 1 is 18, so it's 2 times 18 minus 5. Okay. 2 times 18 is 36. 36 minus 5 is 31. And here are my 3 numbers, and I'm just going to double check. I'm going to plug 19 in my original equation, make sure it's okay. So we get, this is my original equation. 2, 19 minus 1 minus 5 minus x, which is 19, equals 12. Well, 19 minus 1, this is 18, right? And 2 times 18 is 36. Minus 5 minus 19 equals 12. 36 minus 5 is 31. Minus 19 equals 12. And it's 31 minus 19, 12. Yes, it is. So look, my left side of my equation equal the right side of my equation. So I know this answer is okay. And that's it. There's nothing else. Okay. All right. So simple. Okay. Just have to be careful here and there with the words less than, the word exceeds, separating them in 2 groups, which you now know how to do. If there's a subtraction in front of parentheses, make sure that when to use the parentheses. First of all, if it's made up of 2 terms or more, you should use parentheses, and if there's a subtraction sign in front of it, just be careful that every term inside the parentheses comes out the opposite. And besides that, everything else is pretty simple. Okay.